Here we go again, and on the 17th spot, we have the 5th world champion, Max Euwe from the Netherlands. Max Euwe was born in the year 1901, it's a while ago, and passed away in 1981 at the age of 80. Peter, we have him low for an official world champion, but still on the 17th spot overall. Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, well, we're trying to sort of have this different grouping of players. And, Euwe tops this, we call it the second layer. But it's true that I think probably all other official world champions will get to the two top ones. But Euwe, well, has an impressive career, but maybe for a world chess champion, not that shining to an extent. I mean, he plays 2 world championships. He wins quite surprisingly in 1935 against Alyehin, 15.5, 14.5, and then he loses the return match in 1937, I think 15.5 to 9.5. But the second match is much closer, actually. It's Alyehin only wins a lot of games in the end. And I think while in 35, Alyehin was clearly seen as the favorite, I think it's important to note that in 37, many actually saw Euwe as the favorite. So, I mean, Euwe did have some good years there, and also the world ranking, he was number 1 for 1 year and 2 months. And while in 36, he plays a very strong tournament in Nottingham that's actually won, I think, jointly by Capablanca and Botvinnik. Euwe is only half a point behind. And, he's very much involved at the top there, but he's never distinguishing himself as clearly the best chess player in the world. He's, the ranking has him slightly ahead after he becomes world champion, but you can see that both Capablanca and Botvinnik actually managed to win a tournament ahead of him and such. But, he also has quite impressive results early on. I think he loses a match in I forgot which year it is, but he loses to Capablanca with 6-4, and he loses to Alyehin by 5.5 to 4.5. It's actually very respectable scores against some of the biggest giants in the world. So maybe it came out wrongly in the start. He's definitely a very worthy world champion, and he is the best player in the world at some point. But he's not dominant to any kind of extent, I think, is our conclusion, right?
No, I guess he's a bit overshadowed by Capablanca and Alyehin, who are 2 of the all-time greats, of course, but maybe because I think Euwe is usually the name that comes up first as the weakest undisputed world champion, or least dominant. Maybe that's still an unfair representation of his when it should be that, he's this Dutch guy who's not even a full-time professional and is still able to hang with the absolute best of his era and to defeat the great Alyehin. It's very impressive.
Euwe is an incredibly impressive character, right? If you said he has his own profession, he later becomes FIDE world champion. He's extremely well respected and such. I mean, I have went to his place in Amsterdam who's named after him and such. I only have praise for the person. We are just trying to rank players in the correct order, we think, and such. And there it's clear. I think that he has to face giants who is probably bigger than him in a sporting respect, and he managed to actually beat Alyehin, which is very impressive. Then of course, it's a match over 30 games. It lasts 80 days. They say that Alyehin has problems with alcohol and sort of drinks and such. There is a lot of stories in that sense, but I think these stories diminish him too much because he actually does some incredible things at the chessboard and such.
Yeah, it's also not his problem. No, you show up for the World Championship match and you play whatever.
Yeah. Maybe Alyehin was drinking earlier and such and still performed. But, they say he drank less in 37 when he got his revenge and such. But also, I think was it... I think Donna is writing in one of his sort of newspaper columns that the World Championship title was too much of a burden on Euwe, so his solution was to get rid of it as quickly as possible. That's Donna trying to entertain, but maybe also shows a bit about the character of Euwe, that maybe more he was a gentleman and a presidential figure rather than he was a complete street fighter like someone like Euwe, for instance, I would guess.
Yeah, becomes FIDE president, a professor in the university, I believe. So he's done a lot of stuff. No, what I was trying to say is that maybe his chess contributions and strength are a little undervalued, because he's actually a very serious theoretician. He takes his matches against Ayechin very seriously. And yeah, I recall quite some
that I agree with. But I'm not willing to mention another world champion, or maybe we could mention one or two, but we'll debate those later in a way, right? But we have chosen Euwe for this spot. Also, his reign is pretty small, right? It's basically as small as it can be. I understand maybe someone like Tal only has the title for 1 year, but basically he wins it and loses it immediately in a way, right? So it's debatable. Maybe we are rude to Euwe for not laying into the
No, I don't think. Well, I don't think 17th greatest player of all time is rude to anybody. So yeah, it's hard to come up with the rankings. But yeah, after 37, he does okay in this Avro tournament, but I don't think he comes close to the top. He's equal fourth or whatever. And after that, his results are no longer at the previous level. So yeah, that is true.
Yeah. I think.
Anyway.
Well, obviously, by definition, we have to think he's in the right spot because we were the one putting him there, right? So,
with our highly scientific approach of
very much.
Let's put him somewhere. So let's look at a very nice game, which Euwe wins against Ayechin in 1935. Is this from the match?
This is from the World Championship match. And also this World Championship match was basically an ongoing tour traveling all over the Netherlands. So this game is known as the Pearl from Sandervoort, which I think is probably a Dutch beach resort. But what I know mainly is, of course, Zee. So my geography is a bit limited in that sense. But pretty sure this game is known as the Pearl from Sandervoort. And it's just a very beautiful game. And, he's outplaying Ayechin like sort of in a very impressive and logical manner, I would say.
Zandvoort is indeed beautiful Dutch beach resort.
Okay.
Sorry, I can't even make the moves I have here. So G3, Ayechin dabbles in the Dutch and Euwe, just very classical organized player. Goes D4, C4, G3, Bishop, G2. Very much no nonsense, no?
Yeah.
B6. So far, so good. These structures you see often nowadays, even out of the Queen's Indian with the pawn, sometimes still an F7 and so on. I guess white is a bit better.
Yeah, I think someone has written about how Ulf Andersen treated these positions. Maybe it's actually in Rosenthalis' book, but I'm not completely sure. But anyway.
How did he treat them?
Just, everybody thinks they are drawn. Ulf thinks they are slightly better. He just centralizes all his pieces and wins. No big deal.
Nice.
Yeah.
E5, Ayechin also trying to keep some, I guess, winning chances, tension in the position. But of course, this makes you vulnerable to this F4 and the bishop becoming strong. Euwe is in no particular hurry, but now he goes F4, E4, knight B4. Such positions are strategically very dangerous, no?
Probably it is very bad, maybe already, right? Or again,
I would guess so. It probably depends on the timing, but strategically,
yeah, it's close. I mean, maybe also, some strong computer would play H5 and just say no big deal. I honestly don't know. Maybe it loses instantly. It's hard to say.
Ayechin tries to get rid of this strong bishop with bishop F6, but that allows the combination, or I'm not even sure if it's a combination, the exchange that's about to follow. White picks up 3 central pawns for this bishop and just rolls all over Ayechin with them.
Euwe gives an impression of someone who is here to win the event, not just who is happy to be here, right? I mean,
sure.
Well, maybe he's just trying to make good chess moves.
Yeah, I think he's just a good player, yeah. looks like worst case scenario, he'll emerge with a pawn up should black return a piece on after e5. Ayechian decides not to, but allowing this pawn to e6 does not help his chances.
It's very logical. You put the bishop on a nice square and you try to make some kind of blockage. And white is probably better, but could also go very quickly wrong. It's really going to depend on one or two tactics, right?
Yeah, threatening queen g2 checkmate. So Euwe parries that by offering up another exchange, but the knight on d7 is hanging, so I guess this is already terrible for black. Queen f6, knight g5, threatening knight f7. So this knight has nowhere to go after rook g7, et. Yeah, white just has a little more left, no? Still, it's easy to sit here knowing that Euwe will win over the board. This must have been very fair.
No, but that's also, we saw some of our earlier masters who was clearly the best in the world and such, but they don't face the opposition. This is actually Alyehin.
No, it's proper struggles here, the guy.
Yeah, it's 35 Alyehin. You can see Alyehin, he tries to, annoy his opponent as much as possible and such, right? It's a different thing, obviously.
No, it's modern chess, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pass balls here are too strong, and Euwe gets the job done with some knight artistry. Boom, final touch. Not that rook e7 was terrible, but
probably not. No.
Yeah.
No.
Not just a world champion, but also a very strong player, which I guess is obvious, but sometimes the narrative on Euwe was, yes, he's world champion, but he only beat the drunk Ayechian. It was proper.
I think for us, it's clear that we're not going to push Euwe anywhere lower down. We can debate if he should be in the next layer, and he could be higher up, but sort of lower down than this, we're not going to debate, right? That's basically all of the question.
I think it's fine. Anyway, that was our number 17. Max Euwe, the great Dutch. I think still the only Dutch world champion, no?
Yeah, we're going in that direction.
No, I was genuinely thinking it through, but yeah.
Yeah,
Dutch world champion.
I think you're right, yeah.
All right. See you at in the next video. Bye.